And when you're doing it for the love and you get frustrated, you start to question why you're doing it, which I think is the hardest part of filmmaking, is just persevering in those really challenging times where the only thing that's going to keep you going is the fact that you love to do what you do. So
right.
I think most of the big challenge that filmmakers face, I mean, outside of funding, is just the will, you know, like up here in Calgary, we had something called the Collaborative Art Initiative. And the guy named Duncan Kenworthy started it up, and the whole thing was based around the idea that, you know, everyone would pitch in like a 4 or 5 minute scene, and we would make a feature out of this thing. And
wow.
people joined up in the group, and 4 of us made films. So, I mean, it's just the big thing for me is that you have to really want to be a filmmaker, and because it's so hard, it's easy not to want to. So I think that's the biggest challenge that we face as independent filmmakers. It's just finding the will to do it.
Yeah, and you know, like you put it really well when you said that the less technical problems there are to encounter, the more time and energy you have to focus on the creative aspect of filmmaking. But not only that, but you know, you sort of have to wrangle everybody else into that mindset too. You got to get the cast and the crew on that same level of dedication, and sometimes that can be difficult. Sometimes, you know, you have an idea in your head of what you want from everybody, and it's tough to you know, and I'm not trying to make any assumptions about your cast or crew, but from my experience and from talking with the folks at a Lucky Movie this summer who we've been interviewing, it's very difficult to get sometimes everybody on the same level, especially when you're the one with the vision and you're the one with the biggest drive to get it all done.
Oh, totally. I mean, I went to film school up here in Calgary, and like, it was a good film school, but they really take care to institutionalize you in the sense that there's a very orthodox way of doing professional film. You are this position, you do not, da-da-da-da-da, you know? So if you are a grip, you don't make a suggestion to the director regardless of whether or not you're right, because that's just not the chain of command. And in indie film, obviously, we don't have that many people. We're cutting corners because we have to make it on a shoestring budget. There's going to be some crosstalk, and I don't think that's necessarily a problem. It's just, you know, it's really hard to break out of that mindset that, okay, there are rules and they have worked, but there are compelling reasons to do things another way, you know? It's like in Adaptation when, you know, Nick Cage's brother, Nick Cage, tells him these rules have been around forever and they will work for all recorded time. Well, you know, sometimes it's important to break those rules. Sometimes. Yeah,
and that's a movie that I think is all about the push and pull between the organic aspect of filmmaking and writing and the rules. I mean, he goes to the Robert McKee seminar and basically gets his ass handed to him and is told, you know, this is what you need to do. This is the direction you need to go in. If you don't want to go that way, you can't expect anything out of it. And I think you're right when you say that there is the school of thought that is perpetuated, that there's a chain of command, there's a structure, there are a set of rules and guidelines, and, you know, come hell or high water, this is the direction you have to go in, regardless of what your budget is and regardless of what kind of thing you're filming. And I meant to say that the new, I believe it's the layout you guys got going on for the website is exceptional. I mean, I enjoyed it before, the sort of dossier look to it, but now I don't know if that was recent within the last week or so, but the design that I was looking at earlier was really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's I had done this film originally as part of a project with a couple of other people that was more of an overall like eugenics awareness project as opposed to a film. And one of the guys that I was working with had designed a website, and as my goals shifted, I thought, well, the website needs to just change a little bit. So I went in and I redesigned it while trying to maintain as much of the original content as possible. So everyone who was in the original group is still credited, but the website's a little bit different now, just to reflect the different goals that I have with it.
Nice. Speaking of goals here, my last question is about short-term goals and long-term goals with this project. Where do you see yourself taking it? Do you see festivals on the horizon? Do you see screenings? Is there any particular path that you'd like to go down with this project?
Well, I like the film, obviously. I think it's fun. So what I would like to do is submit it to a whole bunch of festivals and see where I get in. I'm still waiting to hear back from a few here in Alberta, but if I hear some favorable news, I may consider submitting it to a whole bunch of other festivals. I know it's sort of pie in the sky, but I know Sundance is closing up their early registration on the 17th, so I was hoping to get my stuff into there as soon as possible.
Nice.
But I mean, short term, obviously, I'd love to do some screenings, even if it doesn't get into festivals. I would love to just rent one of the local theaters here with a couple of other people's work and, just have something that the community can come out to. And long term, I would really love to use it as part of an application to get funding to write a feature-length script, because there's a lot of public funding for the arts in Alberta. We have the Canadian Council for the Arts and the Alberta Foundation for the Arts, and they will fund artists to a certain extent so that they can create art. And I think that this is something that they would probably like. So I would love to see if I could get enough money to write a feature length, and then maybe even get enough money to shoot it. So I'm one of those people who's guilty of putting something up on YouTube and then hitting refresh as the count slowly notches up. So yeah, I mean, I do feel like it feels nice when people see your work, and I would love to learn how to get more people to see my work, because YouTube and exhibition and all this other sort of stuff is like a real science. And yeah, we'll sort of downplay it in the arts community as, people that are just trying to sell out. But I mean, like Jeff Beebe says in the middle of Almost Famous, some money would be nice. So just getting anyone to see work is like one of those first steps that you would take in order to, I don't want to say monetize your content, but like it's important to get people to see your stuff, because I mean, how else is anyone going to figure out that you exist, and how else are you going to make some cheddar?
Leave your mark.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm graduating from university this year, and I would really love to do filmmaking full time, but at the same time, that's kind of a terrifying concept, because it doesn't really have tons of money out there for filmmakers right now. But so that's why I'm just taking some time right now to see if there's anything that I can learn. I got to bust my chops and figure out how I can hustle in this business. It's scary.
I really appreciate your time. I wish you all the best of luck. And one more time, if you'd like to just say the name of your website and get it out there, I'm sure a lot of people would really be interested in checking it out, and I encourage everybody to get out there and check it out.
Well, the website for Reproduction is www.drunkcaterpillar, just regular spelling, no hyphens, no spaces, .ca/reproduction. Doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lowercase, that's it.